Tribe, how you doing? Happy Monday. As you can see, I'm in the Eagle's Nest. I'm up in London. I'm all on my own because it's normally a chill mark day on a Monday, but the team's all down there, and I'm up here doing fundraising stuff. So it gives me a good chance to get a video done to you quickly before I go on to my next meeting to let you know what's going on. Most of you will have seen the expression of interest that went out over the weekend because you'll have seen that flooding's hit Lincoln. Team of Waynfleet, Griff, Rich, Paul, Rick, Dennis, you've all been out there all weekend doing a great thing, like helping that community just in these initial stages. The water's still really high, but I'm fairly certain that there'll be a domestic operation that comes out of this for us. There's nearly 80 houses being affected, and the water level is really high there. So please keep checking those emails, respond to Sam and the Mission Hub as we build it up. As the floodwater start to die down now, we've still got a team there. Working with that community group, looking at when the recovery effort will happen. But it would just be wonderful to help the people of Waynfleet. We've done so much in various corners of the globe, but to actually be able to have a real impact to some of the people here at home would be absolutely fantastic, and also a great way for loads more of you to get involved. If you've just joined, or if you're in the domestic branch and that's what you joined for, this would be a fantastic opportunity to go and actually deliver against that domestic promise that we make. So we should, we never want disasters to happen, and certainly not our own shores, but when they do, that's what we're here for. So thank you to that team that's been up there all weekend building this operational picture, building the right relationships, and to the rest of you now, if you can get there, what a great way to get involved in the TR mission here at home, looking after the people, that are our country folk. So I want to give you an update on what's happening. As I told you all in the last video, Mozambique ate a lot of cash, and we're focusing the whole team, pretty much the whole team, on that funding space. With me focusing on political funding options, endowment funding options, and growing our network of potential funders. Claire Dakin working to develop those into actually funders. Parsnips, Joe Parsons, is working in the trust and foundation space, and Bethan Canterbury is working across all of that with all of us, and Zoe, as I said, is working with Chris Lyon, that to build out the community fundraising, in this July resupply. And just to add a bit of colour to what all of that means is, we've been operating in this reactive space because we are a response organisation, we are reactive. But it means that our funding is always doing this, and it's hard and it's stressful and you can't grow against it. So I'm trying to look at building an endowment model here, where basically we create a massive bank account that TRs run off the interest from. Now I know that sounds like, well, why can't we just raise that money? Because some people want to give to endowments that don't want to give to organisations to just spend it. So we're doing these two things in parallel, but I think an endowment model is the future for us. So there's a chap called Chris Hall, lovely guy, who's helping me out pro bono, making the right political connections in various places to try and establish endowment funding. Basically to build £20 million, and then TR runs off the interest, and then we grow it against a 3-year strategy. So that's one piece that's happening. But of course, we've also got to keep the lights on and keep the deployments going while we're here. So that's the other side of what I'm doing. Running around London, meeting various people. Claire Dakin is building out the support squad, and that's where we give people tiered options to come and join our support squad, so that they'll be part of the tribe, but in different ways to be a grey shirt. Not everybody wants to be a grey shirt, but not everyone can be a grey shirt for a variety of reasons. So it gives people another way to be part of this thing, but through funding us. There's 3 options. There's £1,000, £5,000 and £10,000 per year to become part of the support squad. And for that, you get different levels of access and different bits and pieces. Claire Dakin's working really hard on that with the trustees. And we've also got Nick Fothergill, one of our original trustees, who's building out an ambassador program, because essentially there's 3, maybe 4 fundraisers in Team Rubicon, but there's only 2 actual real fundraisers, and they're both part-time. So this is about bringing other people into the organisation in a slightly different way. There'll be oil and gas financiers, people in the legal profession, captains of industry in various places that have access or interest into countries where we operate, to see if they can then start leveraging their network to fund us. So there's lots of fundraising activity going on in that space. There's Jo Parsons, who is just killing it in Trust and Foundations at the minute. She is working her absolute socks off, generating this huge pipeline, and And it's like these lovely little surprises. Checks just appear in the post, and it's been parsnips just grafting away, typing application after application, like taking what it is you do and creating it into compelling narrative. And that's a real skill, and she's absolutely killing it. And then I mentioned again last week that we're going to do a push in community fundraising again. Claire and Zoe are building out a digital platform where it's nice and easy for you to come in and do it. So just keep watching. I don't want to do anything yet. Just be ready to respond to Chris and Zoe. And this July resupply, we've spent all this money doing all these operations. We're looking now to get a July resupply going, doing low-level community fundraising things, sponsored events, just all that good stuff to start generating the coffers again. I had lunch last week with a guy called Jason Foxy. He's off the telly. He does SES Who Dares Wins, and Channel 4 have been pushing him a lot. Foxy's Last Mission, or Foxy's War Last Mission, something like that. But he does TV shows. He's an ex-Royal Marine, ex-SBS, and he and I didn't know each other directly, but we had a load of mutual connections. And he loves this thing. He thinks this is amazing, and he wanted to catch up to see how he might be involved. So he's come to be a Grey Shirt because he just thinks this is what he's been looking for. Like many of you, this is just what you wanted to be involved in because it's fucking awesome, right? But also, he's quasi-famous. He's got a big social media following. He's on TV. So he's actually going to be our first celebrity ambassador as well. He's going to come and he's in the Yukon at the minute doing a bit of venture, but he's going to be on the first autumn induction and looking to get through his course as quickly as possible so he can start doing stuff with us. So that's really exciting. Because he's got a great background, he'll be a good Grey Shirt. I went for lunch with him. He's so funny. He's a good bloke. But also, he is our first celebrity ambassador, and that starts giving us reach that we can't always get. And we can look for another couple of those kind of people that can just give us reach through their following. Tomorrow, we're going to pretty much definitely be in the Telegraph. So, if you read the Telegraph, if you look at it online or whatever, we'll be in there tomorrow, I think. We've created an article, an op-ed, so opposite the editorial, written by Nick Parker about the amazing work that we did mainly in Mozambique and how the system just doesn't accept our model yet, and how frustrating that is that, we were so important to what happened in Mozambique, but we can't attract the right level of DFID funding. And that's not because the people in DFID don't want to give it to us, it's because their framework and their model just doesn't allow them. And that's really frustrating. So, we should be in the Telegraph tomorrow. That's giving you guys a heads up first to look out for that, and you know what's coming if any of your friends pick up the phone and say, wait. So it's just us talking about the fact that the landscape is changing, and organisations are changing, and these statutory funding models aren't keeping up, and it's really frustrating when we are so important to the delivery of these big responses, but we're not getting the funding, and and what do we do about that? So watch the papers probably tomorrow. We're almost certain to be in there tomorrow. I've talked about the sports squad and ambassadors, so I'm working down my list. Now, the ops team did a video last week, so I won't go into that too deeply to cut across what they're doing. But Ben and Paul will be out doing the main recce into Sierra Leone over the next 2 weeks. And second recce for the DRC is done. I'm having the last conversation with the funder for the first project next week. So we're still looking to get that DRC project in August. I just need to bring the last part of the funding train home. So look, that's a quick download on what's going on, and it's a difficult time. As you know, two good friends of ours had to leave, and that's really hard. But there is a huge amount of amazing work going on. There's a couple of pitch documents out there at the moment for millions of pounds, which if they come off, they change the whole dynamic of what we're doing, and we refocus then on growing the operational bit. But at the moment, it's all focused on fundraising, and it's a tiring journey fundraising, but it is really exciting what we've got coming up, and just to tie all of that back to each and every one of you. I've just come from a hedge fund out in Grosvenor there. It actually overlooks Buckingham Palace, this office. I reckon their annual rates are probably than our running costs per year, but that's hedge funds, right? And that's why I'm wearing my smart kit. But you walk into these funders and they're intelligent people and they are thorough. And he'd been doing his due diligence on us, and he'd been speaking to all kinds of random people. Notice I've got food in my teeth. All kinds of random people to get a picture for us. And every interaction you have with people as Team Rubicon, you know, every time you speak to someone in Lincoln, Mozambique, in a pub, you know, if you mention Team Rubicon, you represent us, and we're so lucky that you all represent us so incredibly well. But it's just something to constantly be aware of. He was taking his reference point from speaking to a friend of his that works in German disaster management, who at some point has interacted with this organisation or one of you in some way and left with a positive experience. So she's passed it on to him, he's let me in the door, and we're looking at £110,000-ish per year from that connection. In the military, we used to call it the strategic corporal, and that meaning that the corporal anywhere on the planet doing any operation, if he or she did an action there in that small tactical space, if they fired their weapon incorrectly, if they upset a local, it can have huge global strategic outcomes. So the war in Fallujah, Fallujah was like the bloodiest battle in Iraq, came from one corporal firing his weapon into a rioting crowd and killing a child. Fallujah turned into a bloodbath. Now, that plays out for us. Everywhere you are, you know, in these culturally sensitive places or not, here in the UK, you know, you represent us. And these touch points, these impressions that you leave, they last and they matter. And that's why I am so lucky and so proud to have all of you as part of this organisation. But we've all got to wear this brand forever, consistently in the same way. And especially as we grow and develop, you know, you've always got to represent this brand the way you do now. So thank you for representing this brand so amazingly. You know, I mean, this organisation is you. It belongs to you, so it's absolutely right that you represent it in this way and be proud of it and be proud of what it is we all do. So, thanks. You guys are hoofing. Look, that's it from me for the time being. I think lots more of the team will start doing these, which is going to be really helpful as well to give you deeper dives into various parts of the organisation. I hope you're having a cracking week, and we'll round up again soon. I love you, tribe. Cheers.